Full disclaimer, I absolutely hate this livery. I think it's one of the worst liveries in aviation history. So perhaps it's fitting that this is episode number 666. But it is not the livery that is of importance here. What is important is how Herpa has done with this aircraft model, and we can find that out thanks to the great prices of the F&B shop. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A321-200 of Condor. At the front of the box we have the usual cutout, so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the Condor branding. Now, since this is a Condor aircraft model, just like with many other airlines, Herpa doesn't care to create a halfway decent looking box, which is why we have this as a backside. So they have clearly not put any effort into the box, but what about the aircraft model? And here she is, the Airbus A321-200 in one of the new standard liveries of Condor. And yes, indeed, how has Herpa done with this very first Condor aircraft model in scale 500, featuring one of the new liveries? Now, when I say this is the first aircraft model with the new Condor livery, I do know that, of course, there is also the A330neo with the green Condor livery. These two models were, however, delivered on the same time, so in a sense, they are both first. But enough about that, as we are focusing on this yellow A321 in this review. And the best way to figure out what Herpa has done with this aircraft model is simply to take a closer look at it, and we start off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the Condor branding. And I know that many actually don't like that the Condor logo isn't featured larger on the stabilizer, and I tend to agree, but perhaps this is one of the very few details of this livery that I kind of like, is how the Condor logo was incorporated into these lines. Now, on the fuselage we then find the full registration code of the aircraft and the flag of Germany. Towards the very tail of the aircraft we then also have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. Time to move a little bit further to the top of the fuselage, where we find Herpa has added this sat dome. Now, I like when Herpa adds details, but I do prefer them to add them correctly, as the sat dome is unfortunately massively oversized. I think the better solution here would have been to not add it as a physical detailing, but simply indicate it in a print, given that the real sat dome is rather tiny. Now, if we move further to the front, passing even more of these dreadful lines, we'll find the writing of Condor and the Condor branding. We then also have some static ports added, which is always a nice addition, but that's all the details we get here on the side of the fuselage. When we then look at the cockpit section itself, well, we have the cockpit windows and the window wipers, but that's also then here all the details we have. I'd say it's not the worst cockpit shape itself from the mold here that I have seen, but it's also not the best. Then if we take a quick look at the engine nacelles, we can see they have been kept in all white, just as, well, at least parts of the of the fuselage, but we do have the silver leading edge printed on, as well as the Condor branding and some safety markings, so that's quite lovely. The physical detailing is also perfectly fine, nothing spectacular, but pretty much alright, especially here from the front. Very, very nice. You can see the engine fan blades. Now, if we move on from the engines to the wings, we can also take a quick look at those, starting off with the top side, where we have the different flap slats and spoilers carved out rather nicely, although maybe a little bit drowned away by the grey paint, but we have some different shades of grey here for additional detailing, which is quite nice. The physical detailing on the underside of the wings is, I think, even better than on the top side, and of course we then also have these lovely winglets from Herpa Wings with some pretty alright print quality here. But we do need to check the winglets, because unfortunately Herpa is always very inconsistent with them. In this case, I think Herpa has done alright, but you do need to check them individually for every single model if you want to be sure that you don't get a minger. Now moving on to the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all their Airbus A320 family aircraft models, so no big surprises here. The main landing gear looks great, the front landing gear is massively oversized, and we are missing printed details. And on the belly we also, with no surprise, find this ridiculous hole in the fuselage for a stand, which is not included with this aircraft model. It doesn't destroy any printed details, but it's still just pointless. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft, and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A321-200 in one of the new standard liveries of Condor in scale 1 to 500 from Herpa Wings. And what can we say about this aircraft model? I mean, overall, it is actually a pretty alright aircraft model. Herpa has done quite well with the print. I mean, they haven't messed up the lines as far as I can see. The transitions from yellow to white are very clean, so that's quite nice. Of course, the model has the usual issues from Herpa Wings, so you do need to check the winglets for every single aircraft model. We of course have the oversized front landing gear. The set dome is a nice addition. It's just sad that they haven't added it in the correct size. The cockpit section overall, the shape there, which is always a bit wonky with the A321 from Herpa Wings, isn't terrible in this case, I think. So yeah, overall, it's alright. It's an okay scale 500 aircraft model. And if you, for whatever reason, actually like the Condor livery, which is of course perfectly fine, then yeah, this aircraft model could be nice to have in one's collection. And on that, I guess, positive note, it is time to end today's episode. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you're new around here, you're always welcome to hit subscribe. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.